This is exactly how you're going to grow your TikTok page to 10,000 followers in just 3 months. And not only that, make up to $5,000 in one day. $5,000. If you just follow this video, each and every step that I'm about to lay out, exactly word for word, you pretty much reflect and nearly copy this entire process that worked for me, you're going to make $5,000 in one day, in a month. $5,000 a few days out of the month. That is how absurd this method is for growing on TikTok. Rule number 1, you have to be willing to get over the fear of posting. I always talk about this on my past YouTube videos, but you need to get over the fear of being in the public eye. There are a lot of cons to this. Obviously, people are going to give you hate. Obviously, at times, it's going to get to you mentally. It's going to stress you out. But this is a part of the game on social media. Once you get over this fear, you need to post not 3 times, 5 times a day. 5 times a day, even 7 times a day, is the requirement in the first 3 months to truly blow up your TikTok following. Next up, you need to be very specific with the audience that you are trying to reach. You cannot just blow up talking about general topics or changing the topic every week. If a topic is not working for a week, continue with that same niche topic. It needs to be very specific, such as high school football player advice for wide receivers. That specific, it's going to be way easier to blow up. There are far more people than you really think in that niche that would be interested. So this is something that you must apply to the method of growing your TikTok following to 10K in 3 months. If you're not niched down like this, you are not going to blow up. This is so vital. An example, high school football player advice for wide receivers. That's one example. For me, it was college dating advice in Greek life. That is truthfully what helped me blow up in the initial phases. I had about 10 million video views once I started niching down to that. And then later on, I blew up to around 40,000 followers the next 3 months. And ultimately, I was able to kind of get out of that niche and get into just general dating advice from there. But you have to start out very specific or else this method is not going to work. Okay, so number 1, very niche down. Number 2, how many times you're posting? 3? No. 4? No. 5 at least. 5 times a day. 5 videos a day at least. 7 videos a day. This should only take you an hour max to film all of the videos and put them in your drafts. If it's taking you longer than that, then you're probably doing something wrong because it's not that hard to think of a video. Now, next step. How long does each video need to be when you first start out posting? Longer than a minute. Ideally, a minute 15 seconds to a minute and a half. Because once you hit 10,000 followers, you're going to get paid for that first minute of watch time. So you want to make sure that each video is over that 1 minute mark, or else this method is not going to work. So make sure the videos are longer than 1 minute, very niched out, 5 to 7 times a day. And when I say niched out, that's the hardest part that not all the people understand. They will say, oh, I'll just do college advice. No, too broad. College advice is way too broad. Oh, I'll just do gym advice for college students. Too broad. It needs to be gym advice for college students in Greek life. Perfect example right there. Or how to go out and drink and get hammered and have fun once a night while also being an absolute menace in the gym. That's a perfect example of another niche. Or like I did, dating advice for college kids in Greek life. Why you should stay away from frat guys, why you should date sorority girls, this, and that. That is exactly the niche you need. If you don't do this, this won't work. So you need to be niched down 5 to 7 times a day. Okay, once you hit the 10,000 followers, now you can sign up for the Creator Rewards program, meaning TikTok is going to pay you a certain amount of money per 1,000 views. It's not going to be $10 per 1,000 views. That would be absurd considering how easy it is to blow up on TikTok. It's going to be anywhere from 20 cents per 1,000 views, which is kind of rare, to $2.50 per 1,000 views, which is also very rare. It usually lies somewhere in the middle depending on your niche. I know the more educational you are, for example, if you did financial advice for people in Greek life, the more educational you are, the better that RPM will be. So For example, if you did financial advice for kids in college, your RPM is going to be pretty high. It's going to be around $1 to $1.50. And ultimately, that's what you want. But if you want to do something more entertaining, that's okay. Your RPM may be a little bit lower. And what I mean by this is revenue per mil. Mil in European means 1,000 in the US. So for me, I do dating advice. My RPM currently is around 60 cents to $1. So per 1,000 views, I get paid. If I get 1,000,000 views, I get like $600. Does that make sense? It's totally worth it because it's so easy to blow up on TikTok. If it was not easy to blow up on TikTok, this would not be worth it. YouTube has the same thing. You can apply these same concepts to YouTube, but YouTube's RPM is absurd. YouTube, you can make 30 grand. 30 grand in one day. YouTube, same concept as TikTok per 1,000 views once you hit 1,000 subscribers. And then some YouTube RPM for the financial advice guys is up to $50. $50 per 1,000 views. That could get you up to 50 grand in one day. Think about that. But we're talking about TikTok here. TikTok here is way easier to blow up than YouTube, Instagram, or any other platform. TikTok is the way to go. So, 1,000 views, you make $1. How much is that if you get 1,000,000 views on one video and you make $1 per 1,000 views? $1,000. $1,000 for one video. So once you hit that 10K follower mark, you're on a roll. You need to shoot for a video that will hit anywhere between 2 million views to 6 million views. That's what I did. I was at only like 13,000 followers on TikTok. I kid you not. I had a video hit around 5.4 million views. I made $5,600 in one day. $5,600 from one singular 65-second TikTok video. You can totally do this if you have a 9 to 5. It takes 5 hours of work a week. You can do it all on the weekend, get all the drafts done, get 25 videos done on a Sunday for the week, post them in between your work breaks while you're working your 9 to 5 in your office, whatever it is, and it will be insane. Imagine you're sitting there working, you're an accountant, you're in a big building, you're in New York, you're in LA, whatever. You're not, you don't really like your life. You're just making $30 an hour. Tuesday comes around, you have 10K on TikTok because you're posting about giving wide receivers and high school football advice. 10,000 followers. The next week, one of your videos blows up. It hits 3 million views. Your RPM is $1.50. You're sitting in your office. Okay? Do you know how much money is about to go into your bank account or on the TikTok creator dashboard? It's going to be like $4,000. $4,000 in one day while you're sitting there in your office making $30 an hour. I'm just giving you all a perspective right now about how absurd the money is on social media. $4,000 in one day. That's going to pay your rent and your grocery bill for the entire month. That is absurd. Now, think about this. You do this once a week. You try to get viral. You stay a little controversial. You have a somewhat big niche of 1 million people, and that's a very small niche, but there's 1 million people that would watch your videos every week. You do this once a week. That's around 10K a month. Now, I never achieved 10K a month solely off of views because your RPM does dip at times, and sometimes people don't watch the video for a full minute if it's not long enough. But I know of a story straight from TikTok. This substitute teacher I used to watch, she's still a substitute teacher. January 2025, she went over how much money she made each month on TikTok. It went 8K, 10K in February, 12K in March of 2024, 14K. So you get what I'm saying. She had around 200,000 followers. But if you get up to that following, you can be making an extra 100 grand on TikTok only working 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week this woman was making as a teacher in a small school district in a small hometown in Ohio. She was making an extra $100,000. She was living in a very nice house solely off of views. Her niche was teaching substitute teachers how to get better at their jobs, something like that. An extra 100 grand. She was making probably 3 times her teacher's salary that year off of TikTok. So if you're an accountant, if you're in sales, Doesn't even matter. You can make your TikTok advice about that. And just like that, bam, you're already working, post a few times a day on your bathroom breaks, lunch breaks. You could be pulling in so much money. You need to take advantage of this opportunity while TikTok is still up and running, because it will pay off. But you got to post 5 to 7 times a day. You have to. You have to be consistent. 3 months, 6 months straight. It'll happen. You'll hit 10K followers. And most importantly, what's most important? The niche. It needs to be a very specific niche when you're starting out. Anyways, I hope this helped, and comment below if you want to hear more. See you guys.